Hey guys, I have Lattafa's Qaed Al Fursan Untamed. This is not the regular Qaed Al Fursan. This is the Untamed. This is I would guess this is the more popular version. Have had this for quite some time. The only reason I didn't make a video on this one yet is because I haven't had the chance until recently to smell the OG or what this one's trying to clone. Now before we get into that, let me just talk about this for what this is, like just as an independent scent. Let's forget about what it's trying to clone. I just want to talk about this one because the price point at which this is there now, you could get this for, like, I would say around $20, under $20 as well. I think at that price, this one, for what it is, fantastic buy. For what it is, again, understand. But again, it will be a fantastic buy if you like the scent profile. So you need to like a few sweeter, ambery, those ambery vanillic kind of scents. Um, Now, if you are not a real fan of sweet scents at all, then you might as well just forget about this one altogether. But if you don't mind sweeter scents, or if you kind of like appreciate the gourmand type of scents, this one is a pretty good buy now. So to explain the scent profile, rather than going down note by note, I kind of feel this one opens up, straight away with a warm spiciness. So you get that warm spices, or like the cinnamon, and then you get the cardamom and things like that. It does have a mandarin note as well, which is slightly hidden, so it's not something that you should really think about. So if it's there, it's there. It's kind of in the background, but end of the day, it opens up with that warm spices, cinnamony, cardamomy, a little nutmeg at the back, and all that. But then, the sweetness isn't hiding. So, you know, uh, generally with things, you need to understand, as you go up higher in oil concentrations like EDPs and extracts and PAFAs, or all that, the base notes start playing an important role. So people usually look at what's the top and mids now, but as you go up with higher concentrations, and even this one EDP as well, you need to really look at the base notes. You need to like the base notes. That's what I'm trying to get at. So this one, if you look at the base notes, this is more of the ambers. It does have that little bit of the woody nuance. So this is like an ambery, a very light incensey. I wish it was more incensey or a little more smoky, but anyway, it is what it is. So it does have the ambers, which again, they do generally have a very sweety, kind of a warm sweety nuance in it. And this one, again, in the mids, in the mid notes as well, it does have all the caramels and does have a few floral notes as well, which do play their part. They do play their part. So they kind of break, the sweet spices, the spicy opening that it has, and again with the sweetness, the florals, they at least they try to bring in a little bit of that powdery freshness, like the lavender and geranium and all that, and the other stuff in it. But again, if you're going to look at the notes, they have clary sage and cypress. I don't think they play a significant role in this one. This one, end of the day, is a warm spicy, definitely sweet, caramelly sweet again, and this one's pretty intense caramelly sweet. Now, if you're going to compare this one with the OG, what it's trying to clone, which is the eros najim. Now, recently I just had the chance of smelling that one. I was actually intending on buying that until I smelt it, and uh, th- I mean, it's not as expensive as it used to be. The Najim, now it's much cheaper. I think you should be able to get a tester, 100 mil, at around 55 $60 the price range. Um, it would have been a good thing if this one was still at around the $30. Then I could have straightly told you, at least, yes, sure, spend double, but you're getting a much better scent with the Najim. So Najim actually has more of like a smoky nuance in it. It is not as sweet as this guy. It is the sweetness in that, the caramel in that, is way more controlled. You can say it's like a little more fresher version of this. That's the easier way, because in that I could also smell a little more of the mandarin, the mandarin orangey kind of a note in that. Again, it's not fresh. I'm not saying that one is like super fresh or something. It is a lighter version, sort of. You just feel it's more airier, that one, and even the smokiness in that, I kind of liked it. Now, now this scent profile itself is not something that I really want to get too many scents in this profile, because I already feel I have enough. And for my region, I would, these darker, heavier scents don't make much sense to me, because we don't really get we don't get into like severe winters. So for summers, you got to be a little careful. Like, you could use it, but just make sure you just do just a couple of sprays, not more than that. Otherwise, it'll get a little too cloying. I feel, the sweetness and all that warm spices, they might get a little too much. So because of that, I didn't go ahead and buy the Najim. But if something does come up in my local fraccoms, like, a partial or something like that, I probably will get one at some point. But at that moment, after I smelled that, I kind of felt this was close enough. Now, this is a darker, heavier version of Najim. That an easier way to say. This is a little more darker. I definitely prefer Najim. If you do have the budget, or if you haven't got this yet, or you're considering between Najim and this, I would strongly suggest get the Najim. If you get that at a good price, like I'm saying, $50-$60 price range, between that, if you can find a 100 ml tester, pick that one up. That I felt was a little more wearable for me, especially when it comes to summer and spring, or cooler summer nights. You could definitely wear that. This one, you got to be a little more careful with this. So that was my comparison. I waited till I got a chance to smell that, and I did, which is why I brought this one out. You can see the sprayer. If you want to see the sprayer, you can see the sprayer in action. Yep, good sprayer, nothing to complain about or anything like that. Yeah, it's a good scent. This one by itself, at the price point that it is at nowadays, under $20. Yeah, good scent. Yeah, as long as you like, like a kind of like a burnt caramel note. Just keep that in mind, because the Najim doesn't have a burnt caramel note. It does have the caramel, but it's a very light, airy caramel. That's the big difference that I found between these two. The major difference was that it's just how the caramel behaves in this and with the Najim. All right, guys, that was just my quick review on Lattafa's Qaed Al Fursan. Again, this one's unisex again. I would say slightly maybe masculine leaning, but anyone can wear it. It's a sweet scent, end of the day. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.